What is going on, interwebs? Welcome to another edition of T2N Live. This one is kind of strange. I'm actually streaming to Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram all at the same time. Kind of testing some stuff out here to see how well it works. Hopefully everything goes smooth. So far, I see my buddy Willie Gillis is watching over on Instagram. And it doesn't show me who's watching on Facebook or on YouTube, but that's okay. If you guys comment, I'll definitely see the comments. Speaking of which, I'm giving away a free bottle of exogenous ketones. These ketones right here. Let's see if I can get my camera to zoom in on them. Okay. Gonna give a bottle of these away on each platform tonight. Pretty much all you have to do to be eligible to win is put the comment hashtag ketones in the comments, either now or like I'm going to let the replay go overnight, and then whoever posts hashtag ketones in there, I'll pick a winner from each one of the platforms, and then I'll reach out to you and we'll make sure I get your shipping information and we'll get you some ketones. All right, let's see what we got going on here. Ross says he's watching over on Facebook. Glad to see it, brother. Glad to see it. Yep, now I got to get it to go away. Oh, goodness. Yep, you live and learn with this stuff. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, so pretty much what I wanted to do with tonight's episode is I want to give you guys time to ask some questions, anything you may have on your mind concerning the ketogenic diet. The keto diet is very, very popular, has gained a ton of popularity over the last 10 years. A lot of people have tried it and failed. They couldn't get past the initial adaptation phase. Some people have tried it and had good success for a while, and then it fell off. All of these things have to do with the way that you're going about doing things. But now, the main reason I wanted to do this episode was because I'm hoping to gather some questions from you guys, because I'm going to be putting together a video on how to start the ketogenic diet properly. Okay, there is a right and a wrong way to do it. And there are even some adjustments you have to make at the midway point in order to, make sure that you get the most out of the experience, for sure. Susan, what's going on over on Facebook? David, what's happening? Keith Holland, my man, how you doing over there on Instagram? Unfortunately, YouTube isn't, if somebody doesn't comment, it doesn't show me who's there. So somebody's over there watching and they'll comment, I'm sure. But anyway, so if you guys have any questions about the ketogenic protocol, go ahead and put them in the comments and I'll be glad to answer them. While I'm waiting on you guys to throw in some questions, real quick, I just want to say that one of the biggest things that happens with people when it comes to starting the ketogenic diet is that they go in all gung-ho and they typically run at a very, very high fat ratio, sometimes 70, as much as 80% fat, and then they get the rest of their nutrients from protein and carbs. Typically, if you run that high of fat, you can do it for the first week or two. But after that, what winds up happening is once you become adapted and you're actually burning fatty acids to make ketones, if you're eating all this fat, you can't burn the stored body fat. So you have to modulate things as you transfer into ketosis and you become fully fat adapted. Now, for most people, the process of becoming fat adapted takes about 4 to 6 weeks. And there are some things, which I'm sure most of you have heard about, called like the keto flu. This can happen most commonly due to an electrolyte imbalance. People report things such as brain fog, they can't think clearly, headaches, dry mouth, all these different things. And a lot of it has to do with your electrolyte balance and the amount of water that you're taking in. Here's what you need to keep in mind when you're dealing with a ketogenic protocol. You are eliminating carbohydrates, both dietary intake and stored forms. in your body, for every stored gram of carbohydrates, which is either glucose or glycogen, it's also stored in fat cells. As you eliminate all those stored carbohydrates, each one of those grams holds 3 to 4 grams of water. So you see a big weight loss in the beginning because you're depleting all the carbohydrates. Then it levels out, and this is the place where people have the biggest stumbling blocks, because they find themselves like, well, okay, well, apparently this worked for a quick, 15, 20, 30 pounds of weight loss, but now I need to go back and do something else. And then in all actuality, that's not the case. You need to adjust your macronutrients to accommodate for the weight loss. Predominantly, you need to modulate your fat and your protein. Bring your fats down so you're not eating so much fat. Bring your proteins up to maintain that lean muscle tissue. And then you're good to go as far as continuing weight loss. Now, will it be as drastic as it was in the beginning? No, it's not going to do that. But you will see a sustained weight loss over time if you stay the course and modulate things accordingly. Stacy, what's going on? Stacy is a good one to tell you. She's also a fitness professional. I worked with her husband for a brief period of time, got him on a ketogenic protocol, and last I heard, he'd lost well over 40 pounds, and he was still losing. So, the benefits are undeniable. You can see it all over the internet. Every place that you hear anything about diets these days, you either hear about the ketogenic diet or some form of the ketogenic diet, the carnivore diet, things of that nature. These diets all work by making the body break down fat into fatty acids and sending it to the liver so the liver can create ketone bodies. Okay, the most prevalent of those ketone bodies, and the one that's most widely used in the body, is beta hydroxybutyrate, or BHB. Now, that's what the exogenous ketones I'm giving away tonight, that's exactly what that is. It's beta hydroxybutyrate, and it's bonded with calcium, magnesium, and sodium, which helps to keep your electrolytes up. Okay? Because as I said, when you're on a ketogenic protocol, you have a tendency to lose more water than normal, and when you lose water, you lose electrolytes. So that's why it's really important to balance your electrolytes. Also important to hydrate. But that goes for any nutrition protocol as far as that's concerned. If you're losing weight, odds are you're going to be losing body fat too. You're going to lose body fat and you're going to lose water. Excuse me. I'll get it out here in a minute. I'm trying to look at too many different things here. But yeah, so, it's important to hydrate. It's important to make sure that you're getting proper sodium. Sodium, potassium, and magnesium are the 3 big ones. You want to make sure that you watch those and you're getting adequate amounts. A lot of times you can use pink Himalayan salt. Put a little bit of that in your water, like a shaker cup of this, like this, with water, and a 1/4 teaspoon of pink Himalayan salt. You're getting plenty of magnesium, plenty of potassium, plenty of sodium, and as many as 60 other trace minerals as well. So these are all things to keep in mind. So Robert, what's going on, brother? So do you guys got any questions about the ketogenic diet? If you do, pop them in the comments real quick. I'm going to take a drink break because I need to hydrate. Well, so far this the streaming to 3 different platforms is working out pretty well. I think I may need to adjust video for Instagram, but it is what it is. At least I can get out there and talk to people and get the message out there. So, good to see you too, Robert, for sure. So does anybody have any questions about the ketogenic protocol before I wrap this stuff up? I don't want to take up too much of you guys' time if you're busy and whatnot. I know this is kind of a funny time. I really played around a lot with trying to find the best time for doing these lives. Sometimes I do them at 8 o'clock at night and I get a whole lot of engagement, and then other times I do it and it's like crickets. I'm not talking to anybody for the whole time. So I never really know. Let's see. All right. Robert asked, what's the recommended amount to others? You mean as far as, are you talking as far as electrolytes, Robert? Let me know. Okay, what else we got here? Ross is asking, what macronutrient percentages would you recommend for keto? Okay, here we go. When you first start a ketogenic protocol, how I tell my clients to do things is to use a 60-35-5 approach. And what that means is 60% dietary fat, and you need to make sure that they're healthy fats. Polyunsaturated fats, monounsaturated fats are incredibly healthy for you. Saturated fat, you need saturated fat in your diet. Not as much as the others, but you definitely want to make sure that you're getting adequate amounts of healthy fats. Trans fat, absolutely, without a doubt, stay away from. I recommend staying away from vegetable oils. Stick to your more like, typically I tell my clients to use avocado oil. Avocado oil has the highest smoke point, which means it doesn't scorch, and you don't wind up getting any carcinogen effects from it. So that's what I recommend as far as oil is concerned. But you can also use coconut oil and things of that nature. So I recommend 60% fats, 35% proteins, and then 5% carbs, which usually 5% carbs for most people works out to anywhere between 20 and 35 grams of carbs. That is a good amount of carbohydrates for you to achieve a moderate state of ketosis. You don't need to be in a super deep state of ketosis to burn body fat. You just need to have your body in the state where it's breaking down fat to use the fatty acids to create fuel. Okay, so I hope that answers your question, Ross. Yeah, Robert, yes, on electrolytes, typically what you want to do is, I tell most people that are dieting, specifically a ketogenic protocol, but in general, when you're trying to lose body fat, you want to make sure that you're getting roughly about no more than 2,500 milligrams of sodium on a regular type of diet. Now, on a ketogenic diet, you lose even more sodium. So you definitely want to make sure. I have taken as many as, I'm going to say probably about 5,000 milligrams of sodium a day. So 5 grams of sodium a day. And then typically if you're not taking exogenous ketones, what I tell most people is to get yourself a good magnesium citrate supplement and a good potassium supplement. Typically, they run about 400 milligrams, 500 milligrams. Take one of those a day. That should have you in the sweet spot to where you're doing good. Thanks, Robert. Yeah, I finally got the audio straightened out. So I'm going to be interested to go on Instagram after this is all over and see how it translated over to Instagram. I've checked it out on YouTube and Facebook, but I haven't been able to check it out on Instagram, so we're definitely going to have to do that. All right, guys, do you have any other questions? Doesn't have to be about the ketogenic diet. It can be about anything, nutrition, fitness, doesn't really matter. If you do, put them in the comments. I'm going to wait a few more minutes, see if there's any more questions, and then we're going to wrap this thing up. But before I do, I want to remind you guys again about these exogenous ketones. If you want a chance to win a bottle, just put hashtag ketones in the comment, and you'll get a chance to win. I'll pick one winner from each one of the platforms that I'm broadcasting on. As I was saying, these particular ketones, they are bonded with calcium, magnesium, and sodium. Okay, so if you're taking these, the only other thing that you need is a potassium supplement. And here's the kicker. If you're using things like almond milk, unsweetened almond milk on a ketogenic protocol, it's loaded with potassium. So if you're eating spinach is loaded with potassium and magnesium. So if you're including those two things in your nutrition protocol, you don't need to supplement potassium at all. But with the exogenous ketones, you get 1,200 milligrams of beta-hydroxybutyrate, which will put your blood ketone level at roughly 3 3.0 to 4.0 for as long as 5 hours. Okay. I had that, and now I'm speaking from my own personal experience. I have taken these, and I actually did an experiment where I took them, I measured my ketones before I started, and I was at 5.0, which is or 0.5 rather, I'm sorry, which is normal for moderate ketosis, okay? 0.4, 0.5, you're in moderate ketosis. And then I took a dose, and then I tested my blood ketones every hour. Within an hour, my blood ketone level was 4.1. Within 2 hours, it had dropped down to 3.9. And then I tested every hour after that, and it dropped at a moderate rate. And then it held steady for a good 3 or 4 hours once I stopped testing. I went back and tested at the end, and my blood ketones levels were 2.0. So it is definitely something that you can use. You see a lot of these drinks and stuff that tell you that you're getting 13,000 milligrams of ketones. If you're getting 13,000 milligrams of ketones, first of all, that high of a ketone dose can put you into ketoacidosis, first and foremost. And secondly, your body can't use that much. So all you're going to be doing by getting those $50 drinks, supplements that you get 15 doses out of, the only thing you're going to do with those is make some really expensive pee, and you do run the risk of putting yourself in ketoacidosis. So I recommend that you steer away from those. Get something that has a patented formula like these, which has the Go BHB formula, which is patented and widely used all over the world in ketone supplements. And it's beta hydroxybutyrate, which is the best of the 3 ketone bodies that your body produces. Okay, Robert, good to see you, buddy. Don't burn anything in the kitchen. Oh, goodness. Let's see. Ross asks, would exogenous ketones be beneficial for the carnivore diet? Absolutely. One of the reasons that the carnivore diet is so effective is because you are in ketosis. Plain and simple. Your body is in ketosis, therefore you are taking and you're breaking down body fat for use as energy. But now here's the kicker with all this. These things work great with the ketogenic diet. They work great with carnivore diet. But you can use these on a traditional diet as well. Here's the benefit of using beta hydroxybutyrate and exogenous ketone supplements. Okay. Say, for example, you're going to go to the gym. And you're one of these people that typically before you go to the gym, about a half hour ahead of time, you take in 30 to 50 grams of simple carbohydrates, something that'll digest relatively quickly, hit your bloodstream. Okay. If you take a dose of exogenous ketones roughly about an hour before you go work out, and then you take those carbohydrates, what'll happen is when you get in the gym and you start working out, the first thing that your body's going to burn is the ketones. The reason being is they're a smaller molecule. They're easier to break apart for access to the ATP that's created from using them. Okay. And it's just a cleaner burning energy. I liken ketones versus glucose to ketones being a diesel engine and a gas motor being like glucose. You take 2 motors that are brand new and you run them both for 50,000 miles, and you take the diesel motor apart and it's so clean that you could eat off the parts, and you take the gas motor apart and there's all kinds of carbon and gunk and buildup in it. So, but anyway, so your body burns the ketones first while you're working out, and then once the ketones are gone, you've still got that glucose in your bloodstream that is like the second gear that you can kick into. So if you're one of these people that likes to work out for an hour, hour and a half, 2 hours, then you're good to go. You get a wide burst of energy all the way around, and it's a clean burning energy source, plain and simple. You can use these. I use them all the time, like when I'm doing work here in my office. If I'm like really cracking down and trying to study, whether it's furthering my education or I'm working on content creation or something like that, and everything just starts to get jumbled and my brain gets a little foggy, I can take a dose of these exogenous ketones, and by the time they hit my bloodstream, it settles my mind down. It's incredibly powerful for focus. Reason being is because of those small molecules, like I said before, those molecules permeate the blood-brain barrier much easier, so it's a more readily available energy source for the brain. So I hope that answers you guys' questions. I hope that gives you a little bit of insight into exogenous ketones. I would highly recommend that anybody that watches any of this stuff in the replay, by all means, comment and let me know if you have any questions about the ketogenic diet in any way, shape, or form, because I want to make sure that I get as much information from you guys. So when I go ahead to make this how to do a ketogenic diet the right way video, that I'm answering enough people's questions and I'm getting the information out there that you guys really need to hear. Ross, you are quite welcome, my friend. Christy, glad to see that you're watching over on YouTube. She wants some ketones. She put that hashtag in there. So again, guys, if you're interested in the ketones, hashtag ketones in the comments. It can be now. It can be in the replay. Tomorrow morning, I'll go back and I'll look through what's what, and we'll pick out a winner. So I think that's going to wrap everything up for this week. Let me know in the comments, too, what other topics you want me to talk about. I'm going to try to be going live every week on Thursday, if my schedule and whatnot permits. But I want to talk about topics that are prevalent to you guys, things that you want to hear and things that you want me to discuss and explain and stuff like that. So by all means, reach out to me on any of the social media platforms to give me some ideas. Just put them in the comments. It doesn't really matter. The more information I get from you guys, the better I can go about, giving you content that'll be valuable to you. So there you go. All right, guys, I'm going to let everybody go. You all have a great night, and I'll see you next week.